Patreon.
Girl, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
What's up, Patreon? Welcome back. Hope you are having a wonderful week. Hoping all is well and blissful and peaceful and in your life. How you doing?
I'm great.
You're right. Do you have any updates for us in your personal life that you would share with Patreon?
I have zero updates in my personal life. I went out of town last week with my mom and my friend and her mom. So no boy story, sorry. And I took myself out yesterday on a Sunday fun day. And that's it.
Okay. That's good enough. I mean, you've been having a good time.
Yeah,
you've been having you say no boy stories. I'm like, for the best. I've been doing really well, been really busy with work and a lot of different things, career oriented. I've mentioned and talked about on several times or a couple times about my peaceful companion. He's still great and wonderful. But I was going to share with you, and you said you just pressed record before I even got a chance to tell you.
Because
I just come on Patreon to know this is about to be the first time we're talking about this ever.
I ain't never heard this.
She ain't never heard this. So she just pressed record. She's like, oh, let's just press record. I'm like, well, I was about to tell you what I was about to tell you, and now I'm telling everybody. So I think, so in my mind of the peaceful companion, and I've actually written a movie about this, but in my thought of how this season ends for us is that just based on timing, life, and just things in general, we will just casually disperse and move apart. You know, I don't see any kind of like violent, dramatic, or traumatizing ending or breakup, you know, because, you know, I told you I thought that we might be about to break up. You said, how you break up with somebody you're not with? And don't play me. We didn't all had breakups.
We have. It just seems odd.
I've always been very content or thoughtful of, I've always, with him in this situation, I want him to be the one that moves on. You know, I don't want to be a part of his villain origin story of the woman that broke his heart and told him, okay, baby, go run outside and play in the street now. You know, so he doesn't cause me any problems. He's not a negative thing in my life. So I don't have a reason to end things. You know, I hadn't met somebody and fallen in love or whatever. So I'm fine. But we had an exchange yesterday. So we don't talk on the phone regularly, and we don't text regularly, but we might communicate maybe 1 to 2 times a week, depending on what's going on in both of our lives. Both of us are pretty busy. And sometimes it's just, hey, did you see this TV show? Or, hey, I thought about you when I saw this, or, hey, I'm going to be in town on this day or whatever. Okay. So I got back in his city, and I let him know, and I let him know that the week before, that I was going to be in town for a certain amount of time. And so when I got in town, I sent him a message. And let me also say this about him. He's not somebody who checks his text messages regularly. So he has, have read receipt on his text. So I can send him a text. It could be sitting in there as delivered for 12 hours. As soon as it says read, he responds as soon as it says read. Mm-hmm. Okay. So anyway, I had sent him a text saying that I was going to be in town. And I sent it at noon, and he responded at 11:45 p.m. So about 12 hours, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to just read the exchange that you haven't heard. And I think he's about to break up with me. So I told you, I press record. That's what I said before you start press record. I said, I think he's about to break up with me. And you said, oh, wait, and you press record. So I'm going to just read the text exchange, which is our last communication. And I think he's about to break up with me. Okay. And I will go over. Okay. So he responds, hey, glad to know you're back. How you been? I respond, been busy, but good. You? He responds, shoot, same thing. How you really been though? I expect you to be busy. And he's cute like that. You know, he didn't let you just say something. And I said, I've actually been really good. What about you? He said, exhausted and reserved. And I say, reserved? Question mark, question mark, question mark. He says, I feel like I've been so exhausted from being busy, I ain't got much to give anyone else. Mm-hmm. So I said, that happens. I said, as long as you're doing what's important and your highest priorities, but you have to make sure to take care of yourself. And he says, I know, and I will, and I have to. And I said, okay, we'll get some rest. And he responded with a smiley face, a heart, and the sleep emoji.
And you gather from that.
Well, the whole I ain't got much to give anyone else thing.
I know, but Yeah, how many times do you feel like that a week? I do.
No, and that's what I said. That's why I said to him, that happens. Like,
Yeah.
just prioritize, do the important
He
stuff.
might just be tired, y'all. I don't know.
Yeah, and he might just be tired and venting, and but that's the thing is a lot of and I've told him before. I think when I'm in town, I don't want you to ever feel like you need to make yourself available to me just because I'm in town.
You made that clear from the beginning, right?
Yes, I've said that to him,
yeah.
and so I don't know if me saying, "Hey, I'm," that then based on what all he has going on, is he thinking I ain't got nothing? I'm exhausted. I'm tired.
I will say that when men get that way, because I think maybe they don't get that way as often as we do, because they're not doing as much as we do all the time anyway.
Bruh.
But when they get that way, it is it's a detriment to them and how they move about in the world. They can't just bounce back easily, which is sad.
They can't multitask.
They don't multitask well. And if they feel like their demands are being, if they're being demanded in different places, different times, and it's more than they can handle, then they do kind of crawl into a shell and like, I don't want to do nothing. Right. So I get overwhelmed. Yeah, they get overwhelmed and stuff like that, where we'll get overwhelmed. We'll go to a spa or go, whatever, and then bounce back. It's Tuesday. Okay, cool. We're good.
But that also goes back to, I feel like I'm pretty sure we've done a podcast in one of these seasons about how women see relationship and connectivity as a relief or a release for all the stuff we have to do. Right. And men see it as a responsibility, and then I got to try to see you.
Yes.
And how many times have we been engaging with the guy and he gets overwhelmed and I'm busy, and then they just push you away and you're like, oh, okay, I'm busy too.
I never asked you to take care of me actually ever in life.
I'm sorry.
I can take care of myself, but we can sit on this couch and watch a movie. It ain't really that deep.
I'm literally making the world spin on its axis. And I'm trying to see, you want to hang out or not?
One hand. So yeah, I mean,
like a basketball. And cute. And doing my own hair, like just doing stuff, just maintaining everything, right?
Yeah. And so, working that too.
And we working and stuff. Be doing a whole extra podcast.
That is interesting. Yes, they do tend to clam up when life.
And so I knew immediately to just say, hey, that happens. Prioritize and get yourself some rest. Look, and be well taken care. So when I said I think he's about to break up with me, I don't really mean it, but I because we've been around this block before, I think a younger me would have tried to talk about it more, or I don't know. I'm good on that. But men really do get overwhelmed very quickly with having more than one thing to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we tend to get bored if we don't have 20 balls in the air. You know what I'm saying? We tend to be like,
it's like, what's going on? I'm not comfortable when I'm at home and I'm like, it's something I'm supposed to be doing right now.
And that is the difference between us. We will sit down and say, it is something I'm supposed to be doing because I'm sitting still. And whereas a man, you're like, you didn't do such and such. Well, man, I know, but you was responsible, and we sit here feeling weird when we stop.
No, that's true.
I'll be watching TV and be like, now, what was I supposed to be doing besides watching TV? It was something. An email you're supposed to reply to.
Yes.
You can fold them clothes up. But Aaron, you need to run. It's always something that is something you need to be doing at all times. Not for these men, child. They get 2-3 phone calls in the same day. They need space.
Oh, I can't take it anymore.
I feel like you just experienced that.
Well, I did experience that with him, with my old friend.
The last person you just dated.
Yeah, I did experience that, but I'm experiencing that now, like even with working with my daddy. It's the funniest thing. And I'll complain to him about, the certain phone calls I get with our property management company and doing that stuff like that. And he gets one little phone call and the world has ended. We got to change the way we doing things around here. I promise you, I just went through that last week. Yeah. But no, I actually did go through that with the last guy I was dating. And I feel like he reached a point where he was overwhelmed. It had nothing to do with me. Had everything to do with the things that he had going on in his personal life and on his job. And I became an extra responsibility. And I don't know how you present yourself. I didn't present myself as a responsibility.
And you
If
didn't, and
anything,
then you
I felt like I
accepted.
presented myself as a relief, as
Right.
a,
But it's the way our brains, we see it as a fun adventure and they see it as a responsibility. So
Mhm.
when he told you he felt overwhelmed, you said, oh, okay, cool. And
Mhm.
since that time of you going on doing your thing and him doing his thing, and maybe some things have calmed down, he's like, hey, what's up?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Hey, what you got
Yeah.
going on?
We've had a couple of conversations since then where it's all been on him saying, um, being apologetic about how things ended, how he was acting. And, I mean, his hindsight is very 2020, and I appreciate that. He hasn't made any effort for us to like get back together or do anything like that, but he has, shown signs of he's thought of the things that, were his
He's
issues.
realized you weren't the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all they can do is acknowledge it after the fact.
Yeah.
We pray that you at some point you get the clarity. And
Mhm.
because my peaceful companion is so much younger, this is his first rodeo for life. This is his first rodeo for having these type responsibilities as a young adult, living
Right.
on his own, bills, and and so I am 100% always will protect me, my time, my energy with him as a safe space. You know what I'm saying? And unlike how any other man I've ever interacted with that I've dated, once I see you acting a little squirrely, deuces, we ain't never gotta talk again.
Mhm.
With him, I know to be compassionate and say, take care of yourself, do what's important. But even I thought about when you were talking about your dad and working with your dad, you work with your dad and your brother, but in my job where I have some men I work with, boy, I tell you what, they will say they working on this one thing, and that's the update for the next 2 months.
Like,
And
really, that's
then
all
the
you
one
got?
thing, and look, and the one thing you talking about, oh, we doing this, and this department is doing this, and then I'm managing these people, and and they give the same update for 2 months, and then at the end of the 2 months, that one thing they've been updating ain't even done, and you be like, man, how this? And it really is, men get on this one task, this one thing, and they get stuck on it, and they may or may not able to complete it, but they're gonna be stuck on it. And so these men who we've mentioned before, I've dated men who, they didn't take the troops out of Iraq the next day. It's like I'm in medical school, or it's like I'm a Navy SEAL. It's like in their brains, it is like being a Navy SEAL. And I'm like, it literally just ain't.
Yeah.
It just ain't.
Yeah.
So I'll keep y'all posted. I yesterday, based on me being exhausted and tired, I said, oh, he might be trying to set me up for the breakup. And the other reason why I thought it might be a breakup, or he getting ready for a breakup, is because remember last week, and I don't think I shared it on the podcast, but I told you last week he told me that he wanted to call me, but he decided to thug it out and not call. And I said, hey, no, we don't do the opposite of what we feel. So just if you want to call me, call me. So I don't know if the combination of, okay, you probably feeling more than you meant to, or that you think you should. And now, oh, I just don't have nothing to give nobody else. So I think it was probably the two moments in tandem that made me think, you know what, he's probably getting out of what he feels comfortable emotionally. And, it's fight or flight.
Yeah.
But I will continue to be the safe space.
Right.
Until I ain't. So yeah, so that's my thought, my update. What do y'all think? Do y'all think he set me up for the breakup? I would miss him. I don't know that I would be sad, but I definitely would miss him. But I think, like I said, I think I've consciously been very aware that, I mean, think about it. This season has lasted longer than any of the 3 50-plus-year-old men I dated last year, almost combined.
Right.
So
no, really.
I ain't no, like sincerely. So I'm not tripping. And he has been a blessing and a light and a joy. And he's been an asset to my life. He has not been a liability in any way. So yes, I would definitely miss him. And I'm not gonna, jump to any conclusion or whatever. I'm just giving y'all, this is the update today. By next week, I'm like, my peaceful companion, but he's still a very sweet, wonderful guy. So he hadn't done anything negative or bad. He's just, exhausted and reserved. And it's cute.
Doesn't have any cute.
Cute. Oh, you got more than one thing to do. But anyway, and also tell us in the comments, do you have a man in your life? It could be a brother, a significant other, a coworker that just gets, you notice how they get flustered and you really sitting there like,
That one little thing picked you up, huh?
Hey, wait, you know the scene I see in Color Purple when Mister was trying to cook for Suge Avery?
And Celia was sitting there.
It's all there. So, so that to me, that scene,
She was tickled.
that is a man trying to do things, and that's us sitting there looking. Because you feel so special that you're doing it. You making a point to make sure you gonna do it because you want to be special. You don't know what you're doing. Struggling the whole time. And it still got thrown up against the wall. Let me go fix it.
Let me go. And that's what Celia had to do. Go in there and cook a breakfast.
For her true love.
Because it was her true love. The movie ain't tell y'all all that. But
let's be clear. She said, I know how to take care of my woman. Now, let me go fix my woman something to eat. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
But let us know in the comments. Have y'all dealt with a man who just be clueless?
Or are you that man?
Or are you that? You know what? Let me say, when I have seen women who get overwhelmed and flustered, it's probably more uncomfortable than when I'm around a man who does that, because I'm used to the women in my life, whether it's my mom or just handling things, just handling things.
I agree.
When a woman gets flustered around me,
saying like actual
probably
men,
the guy.
We have men on our Patreon. Like, are you?
Oh, okay. You meant actual men. Oh, okay. I didn't know. You know how, girl, I'm so used to men calling me a man. I'm still talking to the women. You're talking about actual men.
Yeah, I'm talking about real life men.
But what I was gonna say is when I see a flustered woman, I probably react to her as men react. What's wrong with you? Just do this. Just want to fix it.
Probably harder on her. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a woman.
It's a harsher tone you take.
We tend to figure things out.
Yeah.
So when we hear a woman,
not one of them people.
Girl, she's so weak-minded. She over there crying. Somebody, she ain't got her rent money.
Definitely.
And we somewhere ain't got our rent money. Somebody, girl, I ain't about to be worried about that. They get it when I get it to them. You know what I mean? That's how it goes. But you know what? It's all good. We love any woman. When we love men, we literally love. Let me leave this. I posted on Instagram a video of me singing My Prerogative. And I put, to the single men who are crying on the internet that women are choosing peace over shenanigans. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I made this money, you didn't, right, Ted? We out here, just having fun. Child, it was a couple men in the comments crying. Woman's like, oh, the real men, not the real men. Okay, but you didn't have to write that comment. And then this one man, you would have kept scrolling. And then this one man, this is the all-star comment. This man said, you're starting to sound like a man hater. You are starting to say, I said, the jokes just write themselves. And I responded, I replied, I clicked love on his comment and I wrote, okay, ? Okay. And then what happened? I'm literally not a man hater, but just don't like men.
So a man hater.
No. Because I love men. If I was a man hater, I'd probably figure out how to go ahead and be a lesbian. So I'm definitely not a man hater. Just don't find them.
Don't like you.
I don't like them. I don't find them to be particularly interesting, intriguing, or attractive right now. But I know that will change one day, and
it's a cycle.
But no, I'm definitely not a man hater. But they are definitely they try me though. They want to see if I can be. I can get there. I can get there quick. Anyway. Let us know.
All right.
Have you dealt with a non-multitasking man, or are you that non-multitasking man? Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Hopefully you all are doing well. Please leave a comment. And until next time. Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl. Yes, he did.